Two Beards Reviews, welcome to Wrexham, episode 9, Glove Triangle. Up next, let's go. G'day, Sheilas, beard brethren, fuckheads, and just all around legends. Welcome to another week of Welcome to Wrexham Reviews. I am your host, Rousey. That is Adrian. We are going to be reviewing episode 9, Glove Triangle. Ooh, juicy episode. So
Juicy gossip,
episode
man.
obviously featured all around the goalkeepers. We got to see a lot of Chomp. We got to see a lot of Rob Lainton and his injury at Bromley for the third year in a row. And we also got to see Fozzie. Good old Craig, good old Foster, like just like a big moment. But how was it rank? Stay tuned to the end to find out. Adrian, what did you think to this episode, mate?
um, Look, man, honestly, I loved it. It was a really, really good episode. I think it was probably, in my eyes, the best paced episode out of the series. It didn't feel too long. It didn't feel too short. And I think they divided it really well into three parts, which is the glove triangle, which is Lainton, Howard, Foster. And we got to see that linear progression and the stories behind it. We already saw a lot of Rob in season 1. So we didn't need to touch on it too much, but we did need to touch on that Bromley effect of that fucking AstroTurf. That AstroTurf, man, has cost him 3 injuries. And I don't care. Everyone's going to be like, oh, but they're totally different injuries, blah, blah, blah. Nah, man, that AstroTurf cost him.
And if you listen to our podcast, possibly cost him his place in the team.
Oh, that is mentioned. Oh my God. Well done. Good segue. But no, yeah, it's one of those ones where I did know that happened. We knew that had happened. But it's so fun, not funny. It's just so crazy to see it in the doco because you're like, fuck, it really was 3 years in a row. He's done like season-ending injuries each time.
Yeah.
And for me, man, to see him in that locker room at halftime when he did his MCL on his knee, oh fuck, man! Like I was kind of done at that point. I was like, right, this is the episode is gonna bring the feels because yes, it was only short, but it was something we don't see. We didn't see it last season. We saw the game, we saw what happened, but in our eyes, Lainton went off and Howard came on, and that's all we knew. And we knew he did his MCL afterwards and all that jazz, but we didn't see how he felt, the reaction he gave.
Yeah.
Really gave a
He's a very
contribution.
passionate man, Rob is. And look, I love the guy. I think he's great. He's been a great steward of the club. He's a great goalkeeper. And it's so unfortunate what's happened to him. And this obviously made me feel more of that for him. As well as Chomp as well. Like you can see he's just an all-round good guy, the family man, the workhorse.
We love Chomp at this podcast. Chomp is one of our favorite. If we were to ever be in a lucky enough position to be earning money in terms of YouTube, I definitely would want to sponsor Mark Howard's shirt. Whether he was starting 11, whether he wasn't, I would want to be one of those sponsors.
Yeah. I'll have a whiskey with the guy.
Yep. That's the dream.
He's a great bloke. And I think this episode really, really touched on that. The other thing, obviously, was the introduction of Fozzie.
Super Ben Foster in goal.
Yeah, Mr. Ben Foster. So I'm kind of like again, this was towards the end of the episode. They glossed over it. I wanted to see how they got him. I wanted to see the circumstances around how he signed.
Yeah.
Who called who? What was the conversation like? What was going on with Rob and Ryan and what did
How did
they
that
say to
influence it?
Fozzie? Like they didn't touch on that. They obviously touched on him signing, they touched on his games and stuff, and his first game, which was a clean sheet, but they didn't touch on the key stuff that people wanted to see, and that was
That behind the scenes
that
stuff.
behind the scenes stuff and how it all unfolded. because I remember even at the time, I'm like, how the fuck is this happening?
Yeah.
And I wanted
It's a
to
great
see that
point.
in this episode, and they didn't show that, so I was a little bit disappointed. Um, I obviously, you feel for Rob, you feel for Chomp, and Fozzie is just he'll forever go down in my memory as that Notts County save. Not, I know he had a bad start to this season, but he owned up to his shit and took it, and we're in a better place now. So he's done the right thing by the club, and
Spoilers.
he has the right send off. Yeah, spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert for the people who haven't actually not keeping up with the team, but keeping up with the show. Um, but it's a good point, fair point.
Yeah.
But look, just to wrap that thought up as well, just to pile on exactly the same sentiment. I did think it was glossed over. Do you remember it when in season one they had, and I know it was only one side of the conversation, but we saw Rob's conversation with Parky
Mm.
about like getting him to sign. He's like, "Can I talk to him?" And you can see now. I don't know if it was just them reenacting it. I don't know if it was ever legitimate, but it was believable enough to me to be like, "Wow, that was the reason that Parky came on board." And honestly, man, if we had have seen
Mm.
that from Rob,
Yeah, see,
Ryan, Sean, fucking someone,
see Parky picking up the phone to Chomp and being like,
yep,
"Hey, Chomp, like show that conversation, show that we want to
that's
see these
this is the
circumstances
point of the
behind
doco.
what's this." Yeah,
It's like, do you remember the doco Sunderland Till I Die?
yeah,
It's a great doco. I'm not a Sunderland fan by any mean, as you can tell by my attire, but honestly, man, they would show those raw moments, and we did that. We did that in the first season. We saw those raw moments, and I know we talk about it with Rob. We see Rob Lainton's raw moment. I'm just was hoping. I think we were just hoping because there was a lot of juicy moments that were not seen in front of the public that we would
yeah.
like to see it. I
And
understand
I,
that's
I
not how
kind of,
clubs
I
work,
kind of
but I was
felt like,
hoping.
they're showing us stuff that we've already seen or already knew.
Yeah,
Like there
yeah.
wasn't really any new substance to it. Obviously, we got to see how destroyed Rob was when he went down with his MCL. Um, we got to see how Chomp obviously accepted with open arms, Fozzie
Mm,
coming in. But yeah, just that last bit dragged it down a little bit for me again because it,
same.
it just like the other, I think it was the other episode, they tend to gloss over those things at the end a little bit too quickly.
Mm.
Um, I'm tossing up between a 7 and an 8 for this episode. Can't really settle on one, but I think if I've going to compare it to the previous episode, this obviously had more of a storyline, more of a continuity. You could see it. So I think I'm going to settle Rousey's rating 8 out of 10.
I thought you weren't going to say Rousey's rating, and I was like, right, I'm going to have to do it. Adrian's rating is like, I was going to have to do it. But look, no, it's a fair point. To be honest, this was one of the. I actually did. I know that we talk about glossing over the last bit. I don't know if it was glossed over. I think I should rephrase. I think it was. Like you said, same stuff we had seen. And I think with the other two, especially with Rob and with Mark Howard, we saw a little bit more that we might not normally see. We saw the family life, we saw the conversation with Fozzie and him. Would have loved to have seen a bit more behind the scenes. And I know that Ben Foster's always in front of a fucking camera, but I would have loved to have seen some behind the scenes stuff that maybe we didn't normally see. And I'm hoping maybe we see that in the Notts County episode, which is coming up next week, which is going to be fucking epic. But that's the only way I would give the reasoning for it. So for me, I'm giving it an 8.
Oh, so two review episodes back to back where both me and Adrian have given the same score.
Yep.
What is going on with this world right now?
I don't know, man. I don't know. I never thought we would agree on things. And I genuinely, when I come into this, I know my rating. I've made my rating before we've come to this discussion. And also, guys, just for you guys who are listening, we do not do any rehearsal.
This is
We
very
are
much
off
off
the
the cuff.
cuff.
Yep.
We're off the cuff. We walk in and we go, this is what we feel. I don't even know what he thinks about the episode. He could fucking hate it for all I know. But no, this week, we are back to back. Same score.
Yes, that's right. Okay. Well, yep, same score. So both of us give it 8 out of 10. solid episode, very enjoyable, worth a watch. Definitely get out there, give it a watch. What would you rate this episode? By all means, put it in the comment section below. And if you like this content, you want to see more of it, please like, share, and subscribe. It helps us out a hell of a lot. So, yeah, that's it for us for this week. We will see you next week for another Two Beards Reviews episode. Let's go up the town.